We're back.
We're back. Welcome to another episode of
GameCube.
I'm one of the two hosts, Jason.
I thought you forgot your name.
No.
Okay. I'm the other one. I'm Wesley.
And we are husbands-to-be, I suppose.
That's
we didn't
true.
say that in the
Soon.
first episode. Soon husbands-to-be.
Mm-hmm.
And today we're talking about...
Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Yeah, so I guess format of the show, real quick, is we kind of do an overview of the game, give our kind of personal review scores of it on a 4-point scale, basically how much we recommend it, and then we go on to a more detailed, kind of spoilerful discussion. So we'll warn you before that, but...
Yeah. If you want to play the game, then get up before then, but then come back after you finish.
Yes, do come back after you finish. You can listen to our thoughts and maybe tell us how we're stupid and wrong.
Yeah,
or tell us how we're amazing and geniuses and just really great. I think. So yeah, let's go ahead and let's get started. This one was a big one for us.
Yes, certainly the game that we spent the most time playing in 2019.
Yeah, I'm personally a big Fire Emblem nut. I collect the games themselves. I've got shitloads of Fire Emblem cards now.
We have a small Fire Emblem shrine.
You probably shouldn't look away when you're talking, but yeah, it's a series that's near and dear to my heart, even though some of the games fates aren't so great. Still like them a lot.
And yeah, I like Advance Wars is probably some of the first like real tactics stuff I played, and I was a big fan.
We didn't really play much until Awakening was the first one that you played?
Oh, sure, yeah. Like I didn't start anything Fire Emblem-y until after meeting Jason.
I'm gonna type a little bit.
Playing Awakening.
Update. Sorry, chat.
But yeah, I thought that Advance Wars was super great. I remember like having the Nintendo Power articles about Advance Wars coming out and being like, "Ooh, that's a cool game I want to play." Back when Nintendo Power was a thing. So yeah, I'd like tactics RPG, not like super up there on my list of genres, but I do think they're good.
Great.
They're good when they're
literally
good.
The best genre of all time. They're really good. I love them. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Advance Wars is a lot of people's first in the series, even though it's kind of...
it's not even the first Advance Wars game.
Well, I feel like... I should actually look that up, but I think Famicom Wars might be after Fire Emblem 1, but that might not be the case.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I certainly didn't play... I didn't play any of the SNES tactics games really either, like Tactics Ogre...
Tactics Ogre is good.
Ogre Battle? Was it?
Or, sorry, I don't remember. Ogre Battle and Tactics Ogre are the same series.
Okay.
I just don't remember which ones are called which.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a weird translation thing that they translated it one way and then switched back.
Yeah.
I think all of the old games are called Ogre Battle.
Okay.
And the new ones are called Tactics Ogre.
Okay. We can fact check that.
Because I feel like I remember Ogre Battle 64, and then
right.
Tactics Ogre is one of the PSP games, which is a remake of one of the old games. Anyway, unrelated. We're talking about Fire Emblem.
Yeah, Fire Emblem.
Fire Emblem, 3 Houses for the Switch. Yeah, if you've played... Well, I guess... Yeah, if you've played tactics games before, you kind of are at least aware of the... sort of how combat works. You got units on kind of a chessboardy grid. You move them around. There's terrain, mechanics. You attack units. They attack you back.
You kind of do all of your units take all of their move, and all of the enemy units take all of their move.
Yeah, it's like phases.
All turn-based.
And the kind of twist here that 3 Houses does is they introduce a new game loop. So normally in a Fire Emblem game, you kind of have chapters, which are basically levels in sequence. And each chapter is a new game board, and there's some story bits in between to sort of lead you from from chapter to chapter. And then once the chapter starts, you just kind of do the battle, and that's it. You have a chance to like equip people at the beginning of battles for the most part, and sometimes you'll be able to go to shops and stuff between battles. Yeah, the unique thing about 3 Houses is that they kind of try to reinvent the the overall model, I guess, the overall game loop, and blend it heavily with like a persona, I guess. You spend every chapter, every chapter is like you have a month before the mission of the month. So you're told, hey, you're going to do this mission. It'll happen on the last day of this month. You have this many weeks to prepare. And that number of weeks varies based on story. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it's 3 or 4. And you basically get, on Saturdays, you get to pick a thing to do as a class. And on Sundays, is it really Sundays that you do the teaching?
I think you teach throughout the week. I think you
do teach throughout the week, but you set your lesson plan on, I guess, the Sunday.
I guess we should say that you are a teacher.
I feel the leftmost thing is a Sunday, right?
I think so.
Sorry, yes, you're a teacher at an academy. Is the plot, or the like sort of setup.
Academy for rich kids.
Yes, in the center of the continent, where all of the big people in the land send their like noble children and commoners to go learn how to be cool fighting machines.
Yes. Technically, officers, like, there's some conceit that each of you actually has, like, a unit that's fighting with you, though that's not like...
I mean, you do.
But you don't have to. Even if you don't have a battalion, you still have a unit.
But yeah, so the point is that you're a teacher at the school, you have a month before every mission, you set your lesson plan for the week, you kind of teach your character's skills. There's a proficiency system in the game where you can, like, Felix wants to be good at swordplay, so you teach him swordplay. He can use sword in battle and level up in sword, and eventually rank up and learn new skills in sword abilities. Or you could maybe want him to learn armor, and you teach him heavy armor so that he can become an armor knight. And the class system is all kind of built around this. There's a lot of skills that are built around this proficiency system.
People have their like things they're good at, things they're less good at, and they'll learn the things they like faster. But you can go any direction with anybody that you want to. The things that you can kind of do on the weekend are what you can walk around town, around the monastery is kind of your base of operations. You can talk to, you basically want to do this at least once a month, but usually at the beginning of the month. You talk to everybody, get kind of a couple of quests that you can do. You can take lessons as a teacher, because you are a unit in the game. So you can kind of build up your own skills and build your bonds and support conversations with your class, with your students, basically, and the other faculty as well. You can do battles where you like go out as a class and do 1 to 3 battles. Of just kind of training and grinding. And you can do other options that are total garbage, so don't ever do those. Seminar.
Yeah, you can do a seminar where you and your class like learn some skills, but it's unilaterally
I think
worse.
This is only a choice for people who have like really given up on this part of the game loop, but are like, I don't want to like see these people anymore. I just want to fight.
Yeah. If you're doing if you just wanted to fight, you do battle.
I just want to fight and I want to finish the game.
Sure. You can do a seminar, which is just kind of like press button. Everybody, a group of students will like learn a bit of skills.
Yeah.
You can rest, which gives everybody a little bit of motivation, but that's really bad. You can increase people's motivation much better by doing almost anything else.
Yeah, they do kind of give you these like almost trap options.
Yeah, they're both pretty trap options. That's basically what you could do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the loop's pretty tight, I think. You kind of run through this loop. The plot conceit here is that there are 3 houses,
or 3 kingdom-esque structures.
Yeah, there's basically 3 main political powers. Each of them has kind of like a Harry Potter-ish, or as I learned, apparently all British and Australian schools tend to have these,
have the structure.
You have like Hufflepuff and Gryffindor and
Red
and Slytherin. They're kind of Red is actually kind of the cross between Slytherin and Ravenclaw, right?
Yeah,
it is really.
I guess so.
It's like villainy plus smart people. Yeah, and we've like thrown them on top of each other. They're not really villainous, but
no.
So you're kind of presented with like this dichotomy, or this trichotomy. Is trichotomy a word? You have 3 different houses. Each house has a different cast of characters built in.
Each is headed by like an heir to that political power that belongs, or that house represents.
These people behind us, if you're watching, can
those 3, upside down guy, and the rest of them.
Yeah, the upside down dude and the 2 people who are standing right side up.
So we have the Blue Lion's house, which is headed by Dimitri. It is the heir apparent of the Kingdom of Fargus. Over here we have Edelgard, the leader of the of the Black Eagles, really hard. Who is the, I guess, heir apparent to the Adrestian Empire. And then we have Claude up at the top, upside down for some reason, because they had to fit him on the box.
They had to fit him on the box, and I guess in between us is where the protagonists are. The protagonist,
right, yeah.
Violet.
And Claude is, again, heir apparent to the Leicester Alliance, which is not hereditary, but like a group of United States, basically.
Yeah, and each of them has kind of their initial class. You're kind of expected to play mostly with those units, but you can recruit people from the other classes. So you pick a class at the beginning of the game pretty early on. And that kind of sets your story path for the for the adventure.
And they're all quite different.
They're all very different.
Yes.
Well, okay, sure.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
In the spoilers.
Yeah, they're pretty different paths.
They each reveal different parts of the story.
Yeah, and you could, I think, just go through just one.
Yes.
Finish the game and be like, cool, that was a good use of time. I enjoyed that plot. Neat.
And then you could go and do all the rest.
Yes, then you can go and do all 3 other paths.
Yes. Turns out that each one could take about 100 hours.
Yeah, we ended up with about 400 hours of playtime on this game.
Performance, yeah.
Difficulty-wise, we actually ran through quite a gamut of difficulties, right?
Yes,
we started.
Choices.
We started with hard. Oh, so there's normal, hard, and maddening. Maddening was added late.
Yeah, it was just 3 difficulties. Yeah. Was there an easy too?
I don't think there's an easy, is there?
Maybe not.
I think there
are 4 difficulties.
I think they've stopped calling easy.
Okay, started calling it normal.
And started calling it normal, especially after. I think I told you once the first GameCube Fire Emblem. They got rid of the lunatic difficulty and added easy, and that made so many people mad.
Americans.
Yeah, we're such weak babies.
No SMP2.
But yeah, there's three main difficulties. Normal, which is effectively easy.
Yes.
Hard, and then they added as DLC later, free DLC. They added maddening, which is like the really challenging mode. And then, in addition to that, you can choose between playing classic mode, which is if a unit dies, they're dead forever on most missions. There's a couple of friendly missions where it wouldn't make sense if the enemy was killing you.
Like you and your friends are having a practice battle. Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably not going to kill the other students. Yeah. So yeah, you can play on classic mode, which punishes you for characters dying, or you can play on
casual
mode.
Yes.
Where your units they retreat if they lose in battle, but they will come back at the end of the map. Yeah,
and you pick any combinations. Yeah, you could play as easy as a normal casual to as hard as maddening classic.
Yeah,
these are 2 separate options.
I think as difficulties go, yeah. So we started with hard classic. Then we did New Game Plus, hard classic
again. So it was easier because you do get to carry a bit over when you do New Game Plus.
So specifically, we did Blue Lions hard classic. Yep. We did Yellow
Golden
Deer.
Yeah.
Hard classic or New Game Plus. Then we did Black Eagles on maddening New Game Plus.
Yes.
And then we did the 4th secret-ish route.
Yeah.
On pure New Game casual.
Maddening casual. Yes.
So that we could get the special end-game screen for beating the game on a fresh new game with maddening.
Yes.
All 4 difficulty pairs that we did played out pretty differently.
Yes.
It's got these if you're familiar with these sorts of games, they tend to have a kind of interesting, I guess, power curve where the beginning is really hard as your units are literal garbage and you're like babysitting everyone and trying to just steal kills where you can. And then your units get very powerful and you kind of pass the enemies. You start to feel really strong.
Yeah.
And normally that's kind of where you end the game. But this game does have a specific, basically at the midway point of every route, there's a big jump in difficulty. Where some things happen. And I guess it's teased, and I don't know. We can reserve that for the spoiler conversation.
But yeah,
when the thing happens in the middle and basically war breaks out, there's a big difficulty spike. So you kind of feel like you've started over, sort of.
Yeah, a little bit.
You still have all your units, and they're still powerful, but the enemies suddenly get a lot more stronger.
A lot more stronger.
A lot more stronger.
Yeah.
And then you kind of ramp back up to the end of the game where you start to feel more powerful.
Yeah.
And can understand, or you can like kind of handle everything fairly well by the end. On that's basically true of hard mode, and pretty true of maddening as well.
Yeah.
It feels pretty good as a balance curve. There's a lot of mechanics in the game. As far as just like you have your characters, you have the skill proficiencies on them, you have all the different classes you can become, you have
abilities you can equip.
Yeah, abilities you can equip. You have the support conversations between all the characters. It's a little bit more minor, but it is.
But that adds a boost to if those characters are near each other.
Yeah, it does add quite a bit of a boost, but you don't have to focus on it too much.
And then we have the gambits.
There's the new gambit system, which feels pretty incomplete.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's very important, especially on maddening. Like it's very important to interact with it on maddening. A little bit less so on hard.
I think you can kind of ignore gambits a bit on hard.
Yeah.
Same thing with combat arts. It's another. They're like special abilities that you learn that you can use with all the weapons and stuff. But yeah, I'd say mechanically it's all fairly strong.
Yeah.
The kind of big drawbacks I think the game has as a whole are like there's a lot of repeated map usage.
Yes, very much so.
You get the sense playing through it that
it's like there's just the maps for the story.
And that's it.
All side quests just take place on those maps again.
Yeah, and even story missions reuse the maps.
That's true, a bit.
At least they do try to make them feel a little bit more unique by starting in different spots and whatnot. But it does. I will say that this game does feel like it uses like they ran out of time, or they like released the game a little too early. Like they weren't.
Yeah, luckily the things that feel a bit rushed are all relatively minor.
Yeah.
Like, you'd like to have more map variety, but, it's not the end of the world, because, like, the missions are all very different. Like, unit placement makes a big difference.
Yeah, so it's just, like, a little jarring to, like, once...
Yeah.
When you've seen, like, the third map reused, you're like...
Yeah, don't you have more?
Like, really? Where's the other maps? But at the end of the day, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a niggling, like, just slight annoyance, I guess. Similarly, I think the combat arts,
animations
just aren't great in this game.
Yeah, which is too bad because you spend a lot of time looking at them.
I don't know if it's because Koei Tecmo did the animations or what, but whoever they needed more unique animations. They needed
special abilities don't have special animations. I still feel like they're throwing the short spear wrong.
Probably. I don't know. It's a weird animation.
I feel like something's a bit wrong.
Yeah, there's a lot of like you're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do a curve shot with my bow.
Yeah.
You watch the person like spin once and fire. And you're like, okay, that's kind of a cool ability.
It's different than normal.
Neat. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna do rapid shot with my bow. And you watch them do the same thing.
Spin once
and fire. And you're like,
Hunter's Volley?
Hunter's Volley? Is that gonna look different? Nope. It's just kind of sad. Like, a lot of Fire Emblem games have a lot of really cool animation.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really weird that they decided to go this route of very minimal animation. And then the story animations are also kind of janky, I think.
Yeah, like it's fine.
It's fine.
My
It's
concern is
passable.
more, a lot of people have the same animations. Like, how many people do this? Like,
Oh yeah, they're excited fist pump thing that people do. All the women kind of stand demurely with their like hands like crossed in front of them. There's a lot of there's just too many shared animations that makes it feel awkward.
And it's kind of funny because you see someone like Annette do like the happy fist pumps, and you're like, yeah, that fits her character.
Yeah, that fits on Annette. It does not
like,
fit on Catherine.
For sure. Like everyone does it. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Also, the backgrounds during story conversations.
Oh yeah, they're
pretty rough.
Yeah, it's like they wanted so. A thing that's kind of new in this one is that they actually try to do all of the cutscenes with the 3D models animating and stuff. When normally in Fire Emblem games they would do just kind of the character art standing there with like different emotions.
Yeah.
And the way they tried to do that is by having, normally you'd have like a static background.
Yeah.
Here they wanted to keep the static background to avoid like rendering really a lot of stuff. But they went with like they made a
skybox. Like
yeah, they made a skybox for like every room that they'd hold a support conversation in.
So you could almost always see the seam where the like two walls come together.
Yeah, they're not very well made skyboxes.
And they're really low res.
They are very low res, and they could have done like some blur or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
it looks ugly.
I mean, yes, it is.
It's
for
fine.
The series.
Yes, it is. So it's their first time trying it, but I just overall I felt like whoever was kind of in charge of graphics needed like a little bit more time or a little bit more expertise or something.
Luckily, these are like really relatively minor complaints.
I think in other games they wouldn't be relatively minor problems.
Yes,
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, perhaps so.
But honestly, the thing that really saves this game is the story.
Yes,
in my opinion.
Yes. This is some of the best writing in like a especially in like a visual novel or like very story-driven kind of game. Not that Fire Emblem was not story-driven.
Yeah, Fire Emblem was pretty story-driven, and I mean, if you took out the battles in Fire Emblem, yeah, it would be kind of a visual novel, I guess, but...
Yeah. But like, a visual novel kind of only has its story to fall back on, right? Whereas, like something like Fire Emblem Fates has like good combat mechanics
and a shit story.
Right. So even though the story is really bad, you can still like have fun playing the game, right?
Yeah, I feel like okay, characters. All of the characters were really well written.
Every character is interesting. Every character has interesting development.
Even characters I like swear that I hated when they first appeared.
And there's so many that the first time you see them, you're like,
there's a lot.
This guy's a douche, and I'm not going to want to like have him around. Like, oh god.
Yeah, there are a lot of characters who your first impression is like, I don't like your haircut, bro. Or like,
we should just have a print-out picture of Lawrence's haircut. Just to show.
It grows on you. It really grows on you. I'm fine with it at the end.
Haircut?
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine.
Like you said, biggest glow up throughout the game.
Yes, I think Lawrence probably has the biggest glow up. Yeah, there's just something. I think if you're gonna play this game, do all the supports.
Yes, and luckily, even if you play just once,
you have a lot of time to do quite a lot of support conversations. Support conversations, if you're not familiar with the series, basically for all of the party members, you can kind of, if they hang out in battle with each other a lot, or just interact with them together in the monastery, they'll get points with each other. For each individual, for each pair of people, and then certain pairs of people have conversations that you unlock after they pass so many thresholds. And they have like a C conversation, a B conversation, and some people have A conversations and A pluses. And those can affect their endings at the end of the game. When it does the big credit scroll, they do like what happens in the epilogue, yeah. And they have like custom written ones for certain pairs of characters getting their A ranks in support conversations. So that's really cute.
Yeah.
But you actually learn a lot of story.
A lot of the main story is actually in these conversations. Yeah.
Yeah. This game is, one of the things that it does really well is that it just trusts the player.
Yes, this is probably one of the things that makes the writing extremely good, especially in my opinion. Is that it does give you a lot of trust that it's not going to bombard you with information that you could figure out for yourself. It kind of gives you just enough information and gives you the time as well to like make your own conclusions about what things are happening before they finally get revealed, if they even get revealed.
Yeah, some things the main story is just content to not ever say explicitly.
Yeah,
and the writers are kind of like, I don't know, if you didn't figure it out, too bad.
Yeah, I think it's really quite good.
Your problem, not mine. But they give you a lot of avenues to find out about stuff. Near the beginning of the game, you can go up to the library and read all the library books. And normally I wouldn't actually care about this sort of thing. I just kind of ignore them because usually it's just, I don't know, just stupid background information that's not important. But here, you like go read the family history book that kind of has like a kind of a paragraph on every of all of your characters' households. And you actually learn quite a lot of like things that will be story relevant.
Yes.
Before they happen, but in a way that's like, it gives you context for somebody doing something.
Yeah.
Like somebody will do something and you'll be like, oh, it's because of that they did that, or because of that person, or because their father is like this. But they didn't say that their father was like that ever. You would only know that that was reasonable because you read this book.
Yeah.
Or because you had the support conversation between these two characters. They might have mentioned something like a dagger. And suddenly when the dagger becomes really important, you're like, oh shit, that's the dagger they were talking about in that support conversation. Why?
Yeah. And we actually had some moments where like, after we figure something out, we then see a bunch of other clues that we had missed.
When you do the other playthroughs, you're like, oh, duh, that's obvious.
Yeah.
I've never had so many like, I don't know, just kind of, there's a lot of secrets in the game, and there's a lot of like reveals.
Yeah.
And just like lots of small mysteries to sort of sort out.
I think you're rewarded for like looking everywhere and talking to everyone. Like, it's not just random filler.
Yeah, it doesn't feel inane. Like it might feel inane if you're not looking for that sort of stuff, but I thought it felt really good.
But yeah, all of the dialogue, like the dialogue itself is very well written and like very natural, which people can sometimes not do a great job of. And then the overall scenario writing is to like really give you just enough information to figure all the stuff on your own, which is
there's basically just one character that I'm like not a huge fan of, but other than that,
spoilers later.
Yeah, spoilers later. You can find out who my least favorite character in the game is.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'd say, I guess I'll do my review first. I think,
true.
I think overall, like, this was a really strong Fire Emblem game. I thought like, if you're a Fire Emblem aficionado, then like, I'd say play through, do your first run on like hard classic, and then maybe switch to maddening. If you do a new game, pure new game, definitely do casual new game maddening if you're doing that.
Yeah, maddening classic on a pure
maddening classic is a little crazy. Oh shit, we didn't even talk about the divine pulses.
Oh, sure.
That's such a good mechanic. Okay,
sure.
Sorry. Divine pulses are a way to undo. They introduced these in Fire Emblem Echoes, the remake of Fire Emblem 2 for the 3DS. And these are basically, you have a limited number of undos. You can undo as far back as you want.
Yes, within one mission.
Within a mission. So you don't have to... A classic Fire Emblem thing that all the Fire Emblem games do is you lose a unit, they're dead forever.
Yeah.
And you have to make the decision, do I restart this mission or do I go back? Or do I just keep going and just like let it go? And most experienced Fire Emblem players are going to probably reset.
It's pretty big loss to lose characters. You kind of need them.
Yeah, unless you're doing some kind of special run, or you're like, you don't really like that character, or you've like retried the mission so many times and you can't do it without losing a person. Those are the cases where you would like actually keep going.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, it added this layer of like that I think is I'm always fine with it because I am masochistic. I think when it comes to games. Like, I'm totally fine restarting the missions over and over again until I find out a safe strategy to deploy.
But it's super annoying if it's like, oh, someone had a 2% chance to crit.
And they crit you, yeah.
Like,
you get the Fire Emblem percentages where you're like, okay, if there's literally 1% to crit, I'm not going to attack. I'm not going to let them hit me because they might get that crit. Yeah. Same thing with like, you're like 98% chance to hit, that means 50% chance. Like, assume that if they have a chance to do something, it's going to fail. Like, or it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So
it's not like fun to lose on, like, if you've done like, you know, the percentage play and you've done like you've thought about executing this thing that just relies on, you know, 3 people hitting their 95% chances to hit,
and literally all of them fail.
Like, all miss and you die. It's like, well, like, that wasn't fun.
Yeah, so the pulses allow you to kind of get right back into the action, like, right away. You can undo. So if you undo just one step and try the same thing again, the same exact result will always happen. They see the RNG.
Yeah.
So you have to try something new or like adjust your strategy.
Yeah, you can't use them for just free rerolls. So
that's really good. That lets you it lets you try sometimes it lets you just try risky things. Like, I don't know, I'll try like a 50% chance to hit and see if it works.
Yeah, so you get a little bit of ability to try some risky stuff. You can either choose,
and then you start to run low on pulses because you only have a limited number of pulses in a chapter. And so once you're kind of low on pulses, then you're kind of like, maybe I won't take that 50% chance. I only have two.
I'll use it if I'll try to be really careful, and I'll use them if I like absolutely need to. Yeah, you start with like 3 or 4 when you first get them. I think
maybe you start. Yeah, I think so. And then you unlock them as you go through the game. They're kind of bonuses that you sort of.
But
unlock.
You never get so many that it feels like you can just like reroll forever.
No, not really.
Yeah, they're always a constrained resource. But it's like just enough to.
It does kind of it simultaneously like opens up your play, and then kind of as you run low, you start to play more restrictive.
Yeah.
But it's good. It's a really good addition to the series, I think.
Yeah.
And when Echoes came out and had it, and we played through Echoes, I was like, man, I hope they put this mechanic in every single game after this. And so I'm
far,
like,
so good.
double thumbs up to Intelligent Systems for keeping it.
2 of the last 2 Fire Emblems have had it.
But, sorry, as far as my review goes, I guess I'll keep it short. 4. Must play.
4.
I think this could be... I'd have to go back and, like, really think hard on, like, my experiences with the other Fire Emblem games. This might be recency bias.
Yeah.
But I think this might be the best Fire Emblem as far as, like, story and mechanics go. I think the presentation... It's so close to like dropping to a 3 for me, just on like presentation issues.
Yeah.
But the story is so well written and the characters are just so lovable. I'm gonna remember all these characters for a long time, I think.
Yes.
And it just kind of this game sets a bar for like how I think a good story should be written, how I think good world building should be written, or like how you should do world building in a game. Like, even though you don't really see much of a lot of the other countries, you have like a kind of decent idea of what the geopolitical structure, like what's happening in the world, where you compare it to something like Fire Emblem Fates, and you don't even know where the
continent looks like.
You barely know what the continent looks like, if at all. You don't know really where the boundaries are. They're kind of jumping from place to place, and you have like a vague sense of movement, but you don't really know what path you're taking through the world. It's just really weird.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. You're not even sure how these countries operate.
Yeah.
But here you have like a pretty good sense of like what the world is like.
And any time there's like you, the player, would have a question about like, oh, you know, why did that happen, or like I wonder about X, like you know that the writers have thought about it.
Yeah.
And they have a plan for it. You might not see it yet, like what's happening, but everything has been really well thought out.
Yeah, basically, we had a list of like as we were going through the game, we were like, are they not going to solve this?
We had a list of mysteries.
Yeah, we had a list of mysteries that were like, here's what our theory is, but like, I don't know if they're going to talk about it. And basically all of them, except maybe one or two,
a lot of the big ones hit. There's like a couple.
There's a couple of minor mysteries that haven't been solved yet. Maybe they'll get solved by the last DLC, I think, which comes around April-ish.
But like everything of importance does get hit on some path.
Yeah, I think all 4 paths give you a lot of new story information. That's the other big thing that I think detracts, actually, is if you have a low tolerance for repetition, you might just want to play once. Maybe you just want to play 3 times. You will get more out of the game, I think, if you play it all 4 times. But I think it's still a good standalone game. If you just played Black Eagles, or if you just played Yellow or Golden Deer, or if you just played Blue Lions, I think that's a solid game that I'd pay for.
And they all have like a reasonable ending. You could be like, that's what happened, and that was fun.
Yeah, you won't solve everything. You won't know everything about the world, but I think it's reasonable to play it that way and be done and move on.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of value here to actually, like, if you want a game that'll last you a couple of months, like...
I think we started in August and finished at the very end of the year.
Yeah, we finished on New Year's Eve. That's my score anyway.
And yeah, for me, I will have the slightly begrudging 4. Because it was the last game, one of the last games we played in the year. I did my year in review, and I listed this as my game of the year. I think in a lot of other years there'd be things that I'd find a little bit more compelling. But on the whole, yes, this game, the writing is extremely good. Especially for a game, especially for not a visual novel kind of game. It's better than a lot of other even JRPGs that are probably meant to be more story driven than this. Final Fantasy is supposed to be more story driven than Fire Emblem, I think, because the combat's not nearly as interesting.
Right.
But the story here is certainly better than a lot of Final Fantasy stories. Especially in the writing, just how it's presented to you. Yeah, I think mechanically, I think probably my favorites, having the pulses is super handy. My main concerns would be around the amount of repetition necessary to play all 4 times. There is certainly a bunch of content that gets repeated. Not just maps, but almost entire missions.
It is. It's hard to cut them, but you do wish that they actually had time to build a new map or something.
Yeah, and so it's the amount of repetition that there is shared between the 4 paths is a little unfortunate. But there is certainly enough new stuff on each path to be interesting, regardless of what order you play them in.
Yeah.
The order we happened to do it for.
My recommendation for order is
probably
what we did: blue, yellow, red, white.
Yeah.
Or blue, yellow, red, silver. Silver, I guess. I think this is a really strong way to play through it.
Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. Other ways you might do it, I think they're all going to be good, but your experience will be different.
Yeah, we sort of picked blue because it was my least... We
thought Dimitri was going to be our least favorite.
Yeah, we were let's play with the least favorite one so we're not satisfied right away.
Yeah.
And it almost ended up being kind of a favorite.
It's pretty good. It's really good. So, yeah, that was interesting. I think the characters are pretty amazing in that they have a large cast. Every class has 8 different people, and there's 8 or 9 faculty and staff that you can use as well. Plus other minor characters. But everyone has a very distinct real personality that isn't just based on one quirk they have. It's super common. Fates.
Yeah, even Fates had every character had one
that's
or
all
2.
She is.
Yeah.
Here, everyone is very multidimensional. They have character growth, sometimes in multiple axes, depending on what conversations you're going through. They all react very interestingly to the story and what happens. Some people are kind of able to shrug off the horrors of war. Raphael is always going to be happy no matter what.
Yeah, because he borderline doesn't understand.
Yeah.
But he's lovable because of it.
But then Dorothea, anytime there's any tragedy, you can see how hard it hits Dorothea every time.
Yes.
And so like there are different degrees of empathy and whatnot are pretty interesting. So yeah, the writing is just really super good, which carries a lot of this game for me. I think my main complaints are going to be length. If you want to like get through everything, you could just play it on normal or something if you wanted to blast through all the story.
Yes, yeah, you could.
And like that would be fine, and it will not take you 400 hours like it took us. It would probably take like maybe still like 50, 60 hours a route instead of like 100 hours a route. But
I mean, if you're playing on normal, you could probably speed through. I doubt you would even need to like do any of the school training.
We haven't tried normal, but yeah given hard.
My guess is that you could skip a lot of the like monthly content. Yeah, like not do any training battles, not do any exploration.
Yeah, on normal, you might get away with just doing the main chapters for sure,
and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
as long as you're not doing anything weird with the characters.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it was certainly a very strong game. Certainly my favorite Fire Emblem game. So I've played like three.
You played
four.
Four. Okay.
Yeah, Awakening, Fates, Echoes, and
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely the best of those. Though I did like Echoes. Echoes is good. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I think that'll probably do it for this
portion,
spoiler-free portion. I don't know how long that went,
and then we'll get into the this potentially spoilerful, definitely spoilerful, in-depth discussion now.
Yeah, so spoilers start. Cool. Spoiler time.
Oh yes.
Okay, who's your favorite character?
I haven't thought about this beforehand.
I think it's really hard to pick a favorite character. Who's your favorite lord?
Yeah.
Of the three lords, just their personalities.
I do like Edelgard the most.
Okay.
Dimitri is like super interesting. But I like what Edelgard is trying to do.
Yes.
I can more like readily get behind her like this political system is trash. And we definitely need like a real like meritocracy and democracy.
Yeah, so Edelgard is all about like reforming the world,
getting
and fixing
rid of
this like
the
corrupt
class
church.
System. Yeah, getting separation of church and state, or maybe obliteration of church. So
obliteration of church. She's gonna
be a little hardcore.
Yeah, she's a little intense.
But she wants to get rid of the monarchy, the empire, and have like actual democracy, or at least meritocracy. She still wants to be she still kind of wants her to be an authoritarian leader, I guess, but it's someone who's going to be selected and not like hereditary.
Yeah, she wants some kind of selected leadership, not bound by nobility. And
I won't say that her methods are the best.
No, usually starting a war is not how you.
But yeah, I like what she is trying to do, and she's like a very, I guess, otherwise reasonable person. She's like very level-headed but passionate.
I think it's her like she's very committed to doing what she wants to do, and that is like kind of ultimately her downfall.
Yeah. When it's her downfall.
Her inability to like compromise.
Yes, it's true.
She doesn't want to compromise on her ideals, and that's really cool to see in a character.
Yeah.
But she won't compromise even when it's like the death of her ideals.
Yes.
She is my ideals or literally nothing.
Yes. Here we go.
Yeah, I really like her. I think when I thought about this before, I think it's Dimitri is probably my favorite of the three lords. I do think they kind of botch his. So Dimitri has this kind of like he's kind of a sad boy.
Not so much at the beginning.
Not so much at the beginning. At the beginning of the game, he's got this kind of like, he's kind of putting on a nice face. I think
he seemed the least interesting, which is why I picked him first.
Yeah, he seems pretty boring.
He seemed like
but the game insists that he's got like a darkness behind his eyes or whatever.
Right, which is just writing this like doesn't mean anything, and like Felix is just like being a complete ass to him the whole time, and you don't understand why.
Yeah, and there's
like, wow, Felix needs to chill.
Yeah, there's just this kind of like, I don't know, like he's putting on this kind of brave face for the people around him.
Yeah.
but he's actually like really tortured and is having a hard time figuring out what to do. Like, so his father and all of his family die, like his best friends die in this like big massacre that is ultimately set up by Edelgard's companions.
Yeah.
What the country, I guess, the Adrestian
Empire.
And he starts off the game not knowing exactly what happened, and he's trying to like figure this out. So there's this kind of cool like mystery of like,
what happened at Dusker?
Yeah, what happened at Dusker exactly? Why is he so obsessed with this? And as you learn more about him and all of his friends, you kind of get to know more of his like personality and like why Felix doesn't like him so much. And
once Dimitri has a target to go after, once he actually knows who to focus his hatred at.
Yeah, once he learns about Edelgard's involvement.
Yeah.
You see him, he does go crazy. he loses it. And that's just it's pretty shocking the first time he like goes into angry face and is like, we'll kill every last one of them.
Yeah.
Like, well, and you're like, oh shit, my dude, Dimitri.
Like, that's not how
I thought you were my precious soft boy. What's happened?
Like, I see that Felix might have a point.
Yeah, just the dynamic with everyone just changes after that, and it's just really interesting, and kind of seeing him go through this. There's a big time gap in the middle of the game where no matter what route you do, you go missing for 5 years and a war has started and you kind of come back in the middle of it. And Dimitri's has the biggest change over this. He loses his eye.
He loses his kingdom.
Yeah, he loses the kingdom. Dedue dies.
Most people think Dimitri is dead.
He's just in this like really shitty place, and he's all like, I don't know, he's just kind of lost touch with the world and reality, and it just feels like
he's basically given up on anything except killing Edelgard.
Yeah, he just wants revenge, and but he also doesn't really want revenge. He's like, he wants revenge, or he wants to just be killed.
Right. Yeah.
And he's not sure. He's not even sure, I think, which he wants.
Yes.
And he's kind of just like hoping that somebody will kill him. And he doesn't really realize how much this affects like the people around him, and that people are actually looking up to him, and that his friends do like him.
People still want him to lead, even if he's gonna be like a massive emo.
Yeah, it's like his friends all still love him, and his family still loves him. He just can't see that because he's so focused on this thing that happened to his parents more than 5 years ago now. I guess 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's 4 years before the start of the game.
Is it? I thought it was like a year or so. Maybe it's more. Oh, no, it must be more. Yeah.
I think it's like 4 years before the start, but yeah.
But yeah, he's so focused on the past and like getting him to overcome that. Like, it felt very... I think the actual moment that he does the switch from from being not caring about anybody else to suddenly caring about everyone.
Epiphany.
The epiphany moment is a little bit...
I thought this was one of the weakest writing points in the game for me.
I think it's a good... I think the event was set up well. The problem is it's hinged around Rodrigue's death. After what's her name tries to assassinate him. No. Randolph's sister.
Oh, Fleisch.
Yes,
Fleisch.
Yeah, so Fleisch tries to assassinate Dimitri, and then ends up Ferdinand. Or sorry, Ferdinand? No, Frodarius.
Duke Frodarius.
What's his? Rodrigue. Yeah. Sorry. Rodrigue jumps in the way and gets killed. Do they even have... The way that scene plays out is an example of, I think, some of the weird, slightly rushed production of the game. I don't even know... Is there at least like a big cutscene picture? I think there might be, but I'm not sure. It's the sort of scene that calls for... The game has kind of like... The game does have like full-on cutscenes, like 3D cutscenes. and it didn't have one for this moment.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And it felt like it needed one.
Yeah. It didn't feel like it was really, like, enough for Dimitri to suddenly snap out of this.
Yeah, just the way that whole scene was paced and how...
Yeah.
Just how it played out just didn't quite feel right.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
Mhm.
Like, I was totally on board with what they were doing, just not the way that specific
like, something has to happen for Dimitri to, like, snap out of it. Cause
yeah, you deal with it for a while. But I think not too long. It kind of, it borders.
Yeah, it's probably just about...
You're like, please, Dimitri, get over it. Please, Dimitri, get over it.
Oh my god, Dimitri.
But yeah, that's why, but I liked his character arc. He has like a very different character arc from all the other.
His is the most
lords.
extreme for sure.
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that they tried something with him.
Yes,
and
it didn't expect it for sure.
I like his backstory. I like his whole relationship with Edelgard is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The Edelgard doesn't do like you do Edelgard's path, and she doesn't have this kind of sympathy for Dimitri. You don't even know that she knows him.
Yeah, basically, right? Yeah.
But a lot of Dimitri's story is like he did know Edelgard.
Yeah.
She was one of his, like, she was his, like, best friend growing up, kinda. And there's this really powerful scene with the exchange of the daggers and the giving it back.
Yeah.
Well,
giving it
back.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, like, the whole thing feels... I don't know, he just had the more... His route was the most personal.
Yeah, I feel like his is kind of the saddest to overall, not just because of him, but because like he does have an issue with Edelgard, and even though once he stops being so depressed, he still wants to kill Edelgard.
Yes. But he changes from wanting to kill Edelgard. He doesn't want to kill Edelgard in the end.
Sure.
He switches to. He's the only one who actually tried like.
He does try to talk it up.
He tries to talk to her. Yeah. He like actually sends messengers and says, "Let's talk, Edelgard."
And they have their parlay. But...
They have a parlay, but Edelgard is just refusing to be reasonable.
Yeah.
And even at the end, he tries to. There's like this big scene of him like standing there before her, like she's gonna die if she doesn't give up.
Yeah.
Or like concede, and he's like, "Come on, let's do it. let's go into the future together."
Yeah.
And she just, because her ideals are so, because she's like so focused on her way or nothing, she can't see that and throws her life away, I guess. What I would consider throwing her life away.
Sure.
Like she could have, she never really she doesn't do the reasonable thing and tell people what's going on.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, that's why I like Dimitri as a character a lot. But I like all three lords. I think Claude is the weakest.
Yeah, I think we'll agree that Claude is unfortunately the weakest.
His story route feels. I think his story route is maybe also the weakest. I do like the big final battle against Nemesis. I like all the battles are different across each route. The final battles. I wasn't quite expecting that. Everybody told us that yellow and white were identical. So when we got to the final battle in white, I was like, "Holy shit! What's happening? This is crazy."
Yeah, and of course, the Claude's problem is that he is set up by all the story as the master schemer. And everyone's like, schemes, Claude, schemes. What a schemer. And you, like, just don't see any.
Yeah, and that feels like a product of, like, if they had more time, they could have made more unique chapters where Claude could get a chance to do any kind of scheme. He only has a couple of, like, ploys that he actually does in combat.
Yeah.
And one of them is the fire attack, when you're defending the monastery.
Which you still do on other sides. Right?
Which you still do as, like, Gilbert.
Sure, yeah.
Like, Gilbert comes up with his plan, Seth comes up with the same plan.
I feel like
so it feels a little silly.
His biggest scheme is, we got more reinforcements for this fight.
Yes. I mean, he did get them from a different country.
Sure,
that was cool. But yeah, it feels like it feels like they wanted to do more with him, and just didn't quite get a chance to do it.
His side, I guess, plays more like a mystery. Like, he's constantly trying to figure things out. So.
Yes, he's the only one who's actually trying to, like, discover the truth, I guess.
Yeah,
which is kind of fun.
Edelgard and Dimitri are kind of just single-mindedly focused on their ambition.
Yeah.
And Claude doesn't even necessarily have the ambition to even be the leader of the Lesser Alliance.
Yeah, Claude's route is more about the, like, overall plot of the game.
Yeah.
But it feels a little weird coming from him because he is...
So he's not involved.
He's an outsider, right? That's his whole thing, is that he's an outsider.
Yeah,
it's his other plot point.
He's not emotionally involved in this fight to the same extent as Dimitri Edelgard.
Right, which I guess is what makes him the only one who can, like, think about it.
So he is, maybe a little more objective in that sense, which is kind of interesting.
His voice is great. I love his voice.
Oh yeah, all the voices.
All the voices are really good.
Voices. I don't think I mentioned it earlier. The voice acting is really
stellar. In English, we didn't listen to the dub, or the sub. Yeah, as far as I guess we can stop talking about the story. The story is really good.
Yeah.
The things that caught me on the story were like just learning things about people in the books at the beginning. Mm-hmm. We read those really early on.
Like Emil, right? Like you learn that there's...
Oh yeah, you learn who the Death Knight is.
Basically, right? Like you learn
by reading a book at the start of the game.
This kid went missing.
Yeah, you find out some kid went missing.
Yeah.
And you can kind of, as you go through the game, you can sort of piece together who it is.
Yeah.
And we actually caught... we were doing Blue Lions first, and the first time Death Knight appears, if Mercedes, who's his sister, but you don't know that, if you have Mercedes attack him, he has this conversation with her that's like,
why are you
here, Mercedes?
Yeah.
And you're like, sorry, you're like, excuse me? Like, how the fuck do you know her? And it just seems kind of weird.
That's kind of all the information you need is like that plus the book.
Yeah, that plus the book gives you enough like, oh, she's got a brother that's missing.
Yeah.
Is that him?
Yep.
And you can kind of put it together with her. She has a couple of supports that talk about this with other people. Mm-hmm. You get her paralogue that basically all but confirms it. Mm-hmm. Or, no, it basically does confirm it once you get to her paralogue.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. But, yeah, it's just things like that. Things like the dagger. You hear about the dagger. So there's this dagger that Edelgard gave to Dimitri in the past. And it ends up being...
Other way around?
Sorry, Dimitri gave to Edelgard in the past.
And it's kind of given us this kind of, like, cute story about how Dimitri couldn't find a gift to give to this girl, so I just gave her a dagger.
The daggers have meaning in Fargus about, like, cutting your path to the future sort of thing,
but
right?
Everyone who talks to Dimitri is like, what the hell? You gave this girl a dagger? Like,
yeah, you hear...
Are you dumb?
We first heard about it through Sylvain.
Right, yeah.
Who jokes about, like, did I ever tell you, like, Dimitri gave this girl a dagger as a gift, Lamau. And you're like, lol, that is stupid.
Yeah. And then Dimitri tells you about it as well.
Dimitri tells you about it later as part of the plot, and you're like, but he doesn't specify that dagger. He's just like, oh yeah, once I gave a gift to a girl, and it was a dagger.
Right?
Oh no, oh yeah, he does say once I gave a gift to Edelgard. He doesn't say it was a dagger.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
And
you're like, oh shit. Is that the girl?
Right.
Was that the girl he gave the dagger to?
And later on, when the Flame Emperor throws a dagger at you...
Yeah, the Flame Emperor takes the dagger and throws it at you, and that's like... That is a reveal of who it is.
Yeah,
effectively. We didn't believe it.
I don't think I think we were just like, how do you have this dagger?
Yeah, we were like... Dimitri gave that dagger to Edelgard. How do you have it?
Right.
And we didn't put together that it could be Edelgard.
One more step.
Oh my god. The Flame Emperor reveal is really good too, if you do blue first.
Yes. It's unfortunately
because only blue has the cutscene reveal.
Right. Yeah.
When they should all have the cutscene reveal.
Even white doesn't have it. Oh, that's because you aren't. Yeah, okay. You're on the silver path at that time, I guess.
Yeah, not really.
Quite.
Yeah, so I thought the Flame Emperor reveal was really good. Mm-hmm. They gave Flame Emperor a male, like, adjusted voice that still talks like Edelgard does, and still does all of Edelgard's like poses. Mm-hmm. It has her animation set, and it's her height.
Yeah, which is funny because like, that's the Flame Emperor, and he's like kind of short.
Yeah, and you just don't think about it really, and you're trying to figure out who it might be, and you're like, it just must be somebody mysterious or evil.
He doesn't really like the other villains.
Yeah, and it's not until like we see the dagger, and that's a big hint that it's Edelgard. And we just like...
We're like, that's weird.
Wow, how did he get it? That's so strange. And then he takes off the helmet, and you're like, oh shit, you had a voice modulator.
Like Darth Vader. Flane and Seth is certainly another big one.
Oh, the Flane and Seth reveal is really good too.
And
because you go through this arc, so Flane and Seth are like dragon people well, they're just people. They're like faculty, kinda, at the academy. And, well, Flane, Seth, and Rhea. 3 characters, they all have green hair, differing shades of green.
So if you're used to Fire Emblem, then you're kind of suspicious from the outset, I guess.
Not necessarily, no.
Okay. You pointed out early on that none of them have their ears showing.
Yes, so things start to get weird. You start to suspect some things about them. All 3 of these characters have their ears covered up by their hair, which normally you wouldn't care about, but I know, playing Fire Emblem games, that Manichaetes tend to have pointy ears.
Like, okay.
All 3 of them have their ears covered up, and they're all kind of secretive.
Yeah.
So you're like, wait a sec. Are they Manichaetes? Are they dragons? Are they dragon people? And eventually you're like, yeah, I think they are dragon people. They must be children of, like... Or, like, descendants of these, like, legendary saints.
Right.
That we hear about.
Yeah, you're like, oh, Seth has the Flame crest, and Flame has the keyhole crest.
Flame is Seth Flame.
Yeah, Seth has keyhole crest.
Yeah, Seth has keyhole.
You're like, okay, yeah, those saints may have been dragons as well.
Yeah, and you're like, okay, maybe the saint crests are passed on through the dragon children.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of like, wait, are they the originals?
Because Flame certainly makes a lot of these noises around, like, being
really old. Yeah.
Someone calls her young, and she finds that funny. She talks about things that happened, like, long, like, the previous war.
Yeah, like, she's like, I never thought a war would break out again. And you're like, what other war have you seen? Things like, what else did she say? She talked about, like, being in Inbar, like, one of the capital cities.
But not knowing what the Opera House is. Even
not
like,
having seen the Opera House.
The biggest institution in Inbar.
And they're like, what? The Opera House has been there for a long time. How have you not seen it?
Like, oh, I guess you were young.
So there's all these sorts of things that, like, really tip you off to...
Yeah, and so
who they are exactly.
And so we have this theory, like, okay, yes, they are in fact the original saints, Cephalene and Keyhole. And I think right after we decided that this was probably the case, then we finally, like, got their birthdays.
Yeah, we finally noticed that on the calendar, every time it's Saint Cephalene Day, it happens to be Flane's birthday. And
yeah,
it was just like... I, like, screamed. I was like, what the fuck? How did I not know?
And you go look at the statues, right?
Yeah, you go look at the statues, and they have little descriptions. And you're like, wait a sec, that applies exactly to Flame.
Because I guess we also had enough information to figure out that Flame was his daughter?
They kind of come out with that a little early.
Oh, they do. Okay, that's what happened. Is they explain it, like this explains it.
Yeah, they kind of masquerade.
And then we go back and look at the statues, and it's like, oh yeah, Cephalene, the daughter of Saint Keyhole.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, they kind of have this thing where Flane and Seth are pretending to be brother and sister, but they're actually like
father-daughter.
Yeah, father-daughter. And yeah, they do reveal that fairly quickly. I guess you don't have to do it though.
No, it's part of their side quest.
And you wouldn't get it on Red at all.
That's true.
Oh no, actually, maybe you would.
Is it before?
You might be able to do that paralogue before the split happens.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, there's just lots of cool reveals like that I just didn't have. I don't have those in other games.
It's fun to watch the other characters try to figure these things out too. Like Linhardt is just studying Flame this whole time, trying to figure out why she has this major crest of Cephalene like nobody else in the world has.
Yeah, it's...
I feel like Claude is also interrogating her.
Yes, and then Claude has his own, like, Claude being Elmiran.
Yes.
Is also...
That is, never given explicitly in the game.
I think that, well...
I don't think it is.
I think it's only given at the very, very end, like, in his epilogue.
Oh, maybe.
Is when they explicitly say it, but you could figure it out.
Oh yeah, there's also clues, like, his skin is a little bit darker, kind of like Cyril's. He keeps saying he's an outsider.
Yeah, I think once you start doing the supports, you can kind of put his picture together pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But it's just, I feel like every character has something like this.
You're also never explicitly told that his retainer is his father.
That's true, yes.
Which seems very likely to be the case.
Yeah, I think you do eventually put that together.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
But yeah, I was going to say, I think every character in the game, you know who I'm going to say, every character in the game is like, has some kind of interesting mystery, or like, has some really cool character development that occurs in their supports, except one. If you want to guess?
On the count of 3.
Yeah, just say it.
Leone.
Yeah, it's Leone. Leone is...
I mean, she's still like a fine character. Again, she's well-rounded, like all the characters are.
Yeah, she's not terrible. I really wanted to like her is a problem. Kind of like with Claude. There are characters that I came in going like, yeah, I'm going to really like them.
Yeah.
And Claude I still really like, just because I think the voice actor is so fucking charismatic.
Fun. Yeah.
And just everything about him is just fun. But Leone, just like, her entire defining trait is Gerald.
Yes.
It's like, it's not that it's her defining trait, it's that she just can't fucking shut up about it.
Yes. Every time something happens, it's like, well, what's Leone going to say about Gerald in this conversation?
And it's like she
finds a way to shoehorn him into everything.
For as good as this translation was, I feel like this was the one area where they should have deviated more from the script. I think it's one of those things where it's like, in Japanese, it's totally fine to say somebody's name a fucking million times
right.
In a row. And she just... It's specifically that she says Gerald.
Yeah, she says the word Gerald a lot.
But for Gerald. Just like everything she does, all of her battle quotes say Gerald in them. Gerald is like your father figure in the game, and she was raised... she wasn't even raised by him.
She was trained by him.
She was trained by him for like 2 months.
Right.
While he was out.
And she got really infatuated.
Oh, I put together why Gerald didn't have Byleth with him.
Why?
Because this was... Oh, never mind. No, that doesn't make sense. I was going to say it's before Byleth was born, but obviously that'd make Leone like fucking a million years old.
Well, negative years old, yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Never mind.
That's still one of our mysteries.
Yes, we're not sure exactly
why does Leone not know Byleth? Why was Byleth not with Gerald when he was training and doing mercenary stuff for Leone's village?
Yeah, he seemed to go off and do some mercenary stuff, and then we'd never figured out exactly why Byleth wasn't with him.
If you know, comment below.
Yes, tell us. Please tell us. We want to know. It's possible it'll be explained in a DLC.
Or we've missed some piece of information. We might have missed
something small, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, she certainly has her character development. Like, she has, and very other interesting traits. Like, she's frugal. And that's pretty interesting. It leads her to be really practical about stuff. Other people are like, oh, just buy a new bag if your bag's all torn, right?
Yeah, she's kind of, she's frugal, she's practical, she has some debts that she's trying to work through. That's why she's frugal.
She's the only character in this fantasy game with student debt.
So that makes her kind of interesting.
She's ambitious and she's like motivated. Yeah.
Yeah, but as a result, I feel like all of her support conversations with people end up just being about the other person and not about her.
She doesn't develop in the same way. There's not really a lot of development for her, I feel like.
Yeah, her main character development is after Gerald, spoilers, dies.
Yeah.
You see it coming like 3,000 miles away.
Oh my god, yes.
Which is, it's okay.
If I ever die, make sure you look at this room. I hope I don't die. But
Byleth, I will tell you the thing next month.
Yeah. Still doesn't.
Certainly I will tell you. Definitely. After this battle is done, I will tell you the thing.
The most important thing. You will know it.
You will know it. It will be known to you. Oh boy, Gerald. Still like the character, but
maybe that's actually one other like slightly bad writing piece is like Gerald's gonna die.
Yeah, Gerald's death doesn't hit home, I think.
Yeah, it's an interesting scene, but yeah.
It is an interesting scene, but you don't get to spend enough time with Gerald, I think. He's there for a long time.
And because Byleth doesn't speak, you don't really get...
Yeah, I think Byleth... Of all of the So this is another game where your main character is like an audience insert avatar character.
Yeah.
But you don't customize them.
No.
You don't change how they look.
No. It's just Pokemon, are you a boy or a girl?
Yeah. Yeah, so you don't change how Byleth looks, which is weird for an audience, for the avatar character.
Mm.
But then you also don't affect their, like, personality, really.
Yeah.
And they have, like, no personality. It's very strange. I kind of feel like I'm on the idea of, if you're gonna do audience insert, go one way or the other.
What's the other way?
Sorry, either have like lots of customization with no personality, or or a lot of personality with no customization.
Sure, makes sense. Yeah.
Like weirdly, Corinne has more personality, or at least like talks.
Oh, sure.
More.
Yeah, at least Corinne talks. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Corinne says a bunch of dumb shit all the time. I think. I thought Corinne was kind of a boring character.
Yeah, I agree. We just have rapport.
But he at least exists and talks to people and thinks about his problems. Byleth, you're just supposed to kind of
not only is
think about on
like
your own.
A blank slate from the not talking part, but Byleth also has no history. So
yes, it's their way of like creating a character that knows nothing.
Yeah, and so Byleth kind of comes across as being
story reasons
incredibly boring. And yeah,
at least the mystery around who Byleth is actually compelling.
Yes, and I
wasn't compelled by Corinne.
Sure,
they literally tell you Corinne's entire backstory like right at the beginning.
Right. But like especially female Byleth's like facial expressions and stuff, I feel like you get a lot of her personality through how she interacts. Yeah. I just love stuff. She's like her like nice smile.
Yeah, she does have the kind of She has a lot of different
I feel
faces.
like her expressions are better than male Byleth.
Male Byleth feels a little bit more intense. For being exactly the same character, he does come across as like slightly more intense than she does.
I definitely prefer female Byleth.
Yeah. It's a mild preference, but
because there's not really any difference. We did play with them.
Yeah, sorry. Any other story stuff you want to get to? Or should we talk about mechanics?
No, I guess it's fine. Story.
There's so much story stuff. There's a lot of story, and that's why
that's where this game like really can like sell itself as some stories. So.
Yeah. As far as the battle mechanics go, everything was it's all good. Pretty good.
You certainly get especially on maddening, you were rewarded for taking your time on turns that look difficult to like think about all the options you have, like all the positionings of people, the order in which you move them, all the combat arts you have available, especially ones that let you reposition people on the battlefield, like some fun tactics.
You're rewarded for like prepping interesting your preparations are very important. How you chose to raise people, what skills you chose to get, are all very important. And then once you get into the battle, now it's a case of, okay, I've got all my pieces. Yeah, how do I move them in the right order to make this work?
Yeah.
And you're kind of exploring this kind of space of choices.
And I think on normal you can probably just kind of like
I assume on normal you should be able. I assume you should just be able to run at everybody, kill them. Especially if you're playing normal casual.
Oh, sure. You can just throw your army.
You could probably keep clicking auto and just win.
Fine.
I doubt there's any problem there.
Hard.
That's not to be elitist. Like, I think the game on normal is probably like extremely simple.
Fairly boring.
It's almost certainly there just for the purposes of like, here's some light gameplay and the story.
If you hoped that you were getting a visual novel, but unfortunately you had to fight, then normal is for you. Maddening, I do think, is clearly the intended difficulty. Like, it's the one where you really need to engage with all the mechanics. Like, you need to use gambits effectively. You have very few uses of gambits, but they're...
I wish gambits had more uses.
Yeah, but they're
I wish they had more uses
powerful.
and were weaker.
Yes, agreed.
Because gambits kind of let you reposition units, or not reposition. Lets you reposition enemies a lot of the time.
They let you
or stop them from moving and control space. So they're very interesting, but you only get like the ones with the most uses have like 2.
Unless they're support,
some of the support ones have like 4
have 1 or 2.
5.
Yeah.
We certainly went from using all combat ones to like all damaging ones to like in our maddening run, we eventually ended up with things like impregnable wall and I forget some of the other ones.
Stride is important.
Stride is always really good. Yeah, I feel like the tactical diversity was pretty strong. I felt like I was doing different things on different maps. We played together and just kind of trading the controller back and forth.
Yeah.
Between missions.
And having a second person is useful, I think, for...
Yeah, it's actually a really good game to play with two people because you get a lot of
input.
Yeah, a lot of extra thought.
At least if you're going to do... Just if you can do maddening. Like, on normal, like, the other person's not going to probably provide useful commentary.
But even on hard, I was able to, like, just hand you the controller and let you... Because you're less experienced.
Sure.
I can kind of let you figure it out, and I'll just, like, offer suggestions, like... You might not see a move, and I'll be like, you can swap these two guys, or do this one first, and then a spot will be open.
Like chess tactics, there's some certainly learning some like common tactical patterns. So you might do things like put someone in to do an attack, and then use like draw back to like pull them out of someone's range, or rescue to pull them out of someone's range. And things like shoving people. We'll spend a lot of time shoving and smiting people around the map.
Yeah, just a lot of battlefield manipulation.
Yeah, the skills let you reposition people, give you a lot more tactical diversity.
And the different characters you have on each route, even though you could use all the same mostly, you do actually kind of feel like you should use different characters, which is good.
Yeah.
And the different characters have different strengths and weaknesses, so you end up playing very differently each time.
I think you could keep having kind of the same set of classes each time, and you would find enough people who were like good at them. But yeah, we only had something that was a bit different. Like our Black Eagles run was a lot more magic heavy.
Yeah, I think so for the most part.
Than some other ones. We intentionally played the Silver Route with all of the staff and faculty. Yeah,
so Silver Snow is kind of the fourth secret-ish path, or maybe the default. I don't know.
More or less secret than Black Eagle's path. But yeah.
But that's when you sort of go against Edelgard, and Edelgard leaves. We decided to play that one by using mostly just the faculty, which you don't really get unless you go out of your way. You don't really get a chance to use them a lot in the main game.
It was a pretty rough kind of run at the beginning.
Yeah, so at the beginning, I literally ignored everybody except Dorothea.
Because we knew we were going to... you have 10 slots at least for almost all the maps, so we knew it was going to be like 9 faculty, or 8 faculty plus us plus Dorothea.
Right. So yeah, we tried to just use us and Dorothea and a little bit of Linhardt for healing until we eventually got Anna
Flame and
Flame, and we just slowly adding characters in. So it was a very silly run.
Yeah, it made
maybe stacking that on top of maddening was a little bit rough, but
certainly the post-time skip mission.
Oh god, that was awful.
Yeah, possibly
that was the hardest. That might be the hardest mission in the game on every route.
But when you've only been training the faculty and suddenly you have to use everyone who's not the faculty.
At least they gave us Seth. They gave us Seth, and that was the saving grace of that mission.
Because everyone else
normally you start off with you and your Lord character, like your Dimitri, Edelgard, Claude. But without Edelgard, you get Seth instead. And luckily we had trained him up a bit. We had switched him off of Wyvern into being a horse unit, which is great because that unit that mission has a lot of archers. And it took some trials. We didn't have to go. It's a weird one in that it doesn't let you prepare beforehand, which is really annoying.
Yes, that mission's a little silly.
It's pretty obnoxious. If you want to change up your units, you have to go back to a previous save on the prior chapter, redo that chapter, and then everybody just has all the stuff they have. That's the sort of thing that's okay to do on the normal difficulty, but it's not okay.
Yeah, maddening really relies on you being able to precisely do all of your stuff. So when they take that away, it's what the hell?
Yeah, so you kind of have to know it's coming.
Yeah, which you probably will if you're not doing maddening the first time. So
yeah.
No.
So yeah, that one was pretty frustrating, but we still managed it without reloading back to an older save, which was fine. I did have to try it 3 times, I think.
Yeah, I actually tried a few different starts. Getting it started was just the hardest part.
Yeah, because you just have to survive long enough to kill most of the main units.
Yeah. Not
lose Dorothea early.
Yeah.
It was hard. And the other thing I was going to talk about the classic versus
oh sure, yeah,
non-classic, casual. I definitely prefer playing in classic in general, but doing maddening in casual was actually really fun.
Yeah,
especially on our final run, because casual lets you do a lot of, I'd call them, I guess, Advanced Wars style strategies.
Yes.
Advanced Wars has a lot of like sacrificing units to do something, which you normally can't do in Fire Emblem.
Yeah, Fire Emblem, you're very cagey all the time and just kind of like aggro someone and like fight them back.
Yeah, if you do sacrifice somebody, that's like a really big emotional investment to do it.
It's a big gameplay investment too, because you make it.
I mean, it is, but you could get rid of somebody that you're not really going to use, right? Sure. You get like 40-something characters in every Fire Emblem game. You're not going to use literally all of them. But there's just something gut-wrenching about like, I'm not going to use you, but I don't want to ruin your epilogue. So in casual, you have this kind of like, we want to beat the Death Knight. How do we do that?
Yeah.
We surround the Death Knight with weak units.
Yeah.
And he'll automatically target those first, killing them, while all of the strong units stay on the outside and do damage. Oh, sorry, no, I surrounded him with 3 strong units and one weak unit.
He knows he's going to go for the weak one.
So he always goes for the weak one first, kills them, but then we have him blocked off with other strong units.
Right.
And then we just keep putting a weak unit in to keep him from escaping.
Certainly the like
that
tactical
was really
diversity was very different playing on casual. And maddening casual was still certainly like not.
Yeah, it was still hard. Yeah, you were often in danger of like losing all of your units.
Yeah.
That on maddening you only lose if everyone dies for the most part. On casual, sorry.
Yeah.
There's a couple of missions where you can't let specific people die, but those were mostly fine.
Yeah, so all of our runs felt very different.
Yeah, everything felt like pretty unique. On our Black Eagles run, we didn't realize that Edelgard's special legendary weapon,
Hammer,
it has a special property that when you hit with it?
If you hit with it,
she gets to get another turn.
Yeah, at least another attack.
No, she gets the full action again. Yeah, she just can act again. And we didn't realize this. I thought it was just when she gets a kill. Because the first time we used it, she killed somebody.
Sure.
And she got to go again. I was like, oh, that's cool. And I read the ability and just completely glossed over the what the like win condition was, or like what the condition was to trigger it.
Yeah. And we wouldn't figure that out until the very last turn of that run.
Yeah, well, yes. The final battle, you're fighting against Rhea in dragon form. And it was a rough battle.
Yes.
It was a pretty tough...
That's probably the hardest.
We didn't have to fully restart.
No.
But we did have it was really awkward positioning. Maybe we did a couple early restarts.
It's one of the nastiest terrain maps of all of them.
Yeah, there's lots of fire everywhere.
I think it's probably the hardest we did without it being artificially hard, like post side skip on Silver Snow.
Yeah. We had a lot of cavalry units, which turned out to be a very bad idea because there was just a lot of bad terrain for them. Yeah. They were all just like really slow and awkward to move around. We had to like keep moving our army around the whole map.
Yeah, very
to try
slowly.
To get places very slowly. And we got to like right near the end and like trying to kill Rhea, and we like didn't quite have enough firepower.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until then that we realized,
one more turn to do it.
Yeah, we needed like one more turn or like just a little bit more damage, or like we needed somebody to get a lucky crit or something. So we have Edelgard attack, and she like hits
with aimer,
but it doesn't kill her. And we're like, God damn it!
Yeah.
And then we're like, wait,
she gets to go again.
She gets to go again.
Yeah.
And then
God, here come 5 aimer attacks.
Yeah, luckily we had just repaired aimer right before the mission. I was just like, we should just repair all the weapons just in case.
Oh, it's not just aimer; it's aimer's special ability.
It's aimer's special ability, yeah.
Which you can use at most 5 times if it's repaired.
Yes, and luckily we needed all 5 uses. All 5 of them hit.
And then we got her down to exactly 1 health?
Yes. Oh, and then the weirdest bug happened, We still needed one more turn.
One more damage.
One more turn, one more damage,
Yeah.
because Edelgard was our last person.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we hadn't killed Cyril, who was also on the map. And a bunch of weak people were in his range.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, well, I guess if Cyril kills somebody, I guess we'll let it go.
Yeah, it's the end of the game.
It's the end of the game.
Yeah.
I'll be sad that we didn't get like that one person in the ending. Like we won't see their epilogue.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll do it and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, we thought we might lose 2 people because we thought Rhea might kill somebody, and we thought Cyril might kill someone.
Yes. Yeah.
Cyril didn't attack anybody. Cyril just stood there.
He just stood there. In the biggest throw of the game.
Yeah, this was like a massive, hilarious throw.
Cyril, who has spent his entire life just telling you how much he loves Lady Rhea, and all he wants to do is serve Lady Rhea.
He's almost
die for Lady Rhea.
He's almost as bad as Leone, but he's more interesting. Yeah. He has other stuff going on.
Yeah. And he just fucking stood there.
He just fucking stood there while we attacked Rhea. So, yeah, he didn't attack anybody. Rhea attacked somebody and I think missed.
I think she would have attacked Edelgard, who was like the one person she couldn't kill.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. It was something weird where she attacked and either missed or like didn't do any damage. And we were just like, okay, well, they both threw.
Something gift horse, and we're done that route.
Not gonna think about that anymore. And yeah, one more hit and won the game.
Yes. That was exciting.
So yeah, I think there's lots of just, I don't know, the whole thing. I felt like there were a lot of cool tactical moments that I'll remember for a long time. Which I can't say of a lot of tactical games. Like I might not remember specific battles or how they played out. I'll remember a lot of these, I think.
Impregnable wall choke point on that one map where we
where we were gonna get just run over by a lot of units on what is this, the final map of Silver Snow? It was.
Was it?
It was the final map of Silver Snow with Rhea and all of the
you're right, yeah.
And we had 5 uses of Impregnable Wall. There was a choke point that was exactly 3 people long.
Yeah, and
we put 3 people in the way and then Impregnable Wall them and then like warp Linhart out.
Right. So
we had to like rescue Linhart so that he couldn't get attacked because he's the one who used Impregnable Wall.
You have to like melee range a 3x1 rectangle of people who now like won't take damage.
Oh my goodness, that was great.
Yeah, so we're constantly
and it worked for like 3 turns where we had to like keep this wall going while we like attack people through it.
Yeah.
And that's just the sort of weird tactical shit that like
the Transformers doesn't have this.
Yeah, the system enables this, and you just have these kind of weird fun moments. That's sort of why I'm like, I don't know, everything kind of felt like it came together for me as like a I want more. Like I want them to do more of this
in the future. Like
fill it out more. Sure. Yeah, I like this direction. I did not like the direction of Fates. I thought Fates was Fates had more difficult maps.
Yeah, and Fates
more
had
interesting
a lot of
maps.
Interesting win conditions.
They did have Fates went back to more interesting win conditions.
Yeah, which
like
didn't happen over
seas
here.
And well, I don't know how many people like seas, but
yeah, there was like some more interesting stuff on like
they had seas and protect and retreat and that sort of stuff. Yeah. I think Three Houses, despite not having a lot of that, they still the map just
almost everything is kill all the commanders or kill all the units. And the only couple exceptions are a couple tower defensey maps where it's just like survive 10 turns.
Yes,
I can think of 2.
There's 2 retreats, and one of them is a fake retreat.
Yeah, one of them is just alive.
I hate that map.
Yeah. we spent a bunch of time like getting it so that we could actually retreat, because in that map, like if Petra gets too close to the retreat point, it spawns a bunch of units. You have to kill them now. So we got her like right on the border of where those units would spawn. And we managed to give her like, okay, you're gonna have stride, you're gonna like you have a march ring, you're gonna get like 13 movement. Yeah. Someone's gonna like shove you, like multiple people are gonna like shove you over here, and you're gonna boost over to the exit and win the map, and it doesn't let you win.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, nope, the units spawn anyways. So we're like, god damn it.
Yeah, I thought that one for how hard that map is, you get like the reward is like pretty shit. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I thought a lot of it was fun. Paralogs are fun. It was an experience, but you have to be ready to like sit down and
sure. It's long.
Yeah, it's long.
It's unabashedly long.
You're not going to get around it. I mean, you can get around it by just playing one route.
Yeah, or by playing normal, but you will certainly miss out on like those tactical moments.
If somebody was going to play just one route, what would you say to play? I mean, pick your favorite lord, I guess.
Well, it also kind of, unfortunately, it might be Claude because you actually get more story out of it. Like, you've missed some pretty big pieces of the story of Dimitri's route.
Yeah. Well, I might actually say Dimitri.
Yeah,
because I think Dimitri is the most likely to tempt you into doing more routes.
Perhaps.
Which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that's true.
His route is really good.
Yeah,
Blue leaves so many mysteries open that you're like, nah, man, there's gotta be something.
Well, something you don't even know are mysteries until you play the routes. You're like, oh, how did we never talk about that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, another quick story thing I wanted to talk about was Rhea.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Rhea was really well done. I thought she was... You're initially kind of suspicious of her.
Yep. Because Geralt is always like,
Geralt's
Rhea,
kind of cagey about her.
Yeah.
Other people are kind of cagey about her. She says some things that are like what's her quote?
Oh, it's like punishing sinners.
Yeah, where she's like, everybody has like a little thing, a little speech bubble over them before you talk to them. It's like what they're thinking about, or like it's like kind of the intro line of what they're gonna say. And there's one point where Rhea is she's just standing there in her room thinking punishing sinners.
Yeah, they're like, oh, okay.
And she has this like, you can tell that she's got kind of a rage problem.
Couple hints of her temper.
Yeah, she definitely has a temper.
Like when you tell her you're not going to give back Lance of Ruin, and she's like, "What is the meaning of this?"
Yeah, like, she does. Sorry. She flips. Yeah, there's a lot of like hints to her darker side, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And she just feels like. But then then we saw at some point that she had support conversations.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh. I'm curious as like, what is her support like?
Yeah, and like, okay, I guess she's not actually like, the villain because she's got story, or like got supports.
Yeah, or at least like we can learn some stuff about her. And you start doing her supports. One thing that the game does is a lot of times you have conversations with people and you're asked to pick between some options.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was very interesting. They really characterize Rhea through the options that she likes.
Yeah,
so you pick an option and then she'll get like hearts up.
Yeah, or hearts down.
Or hearts down.
She really
Rhea always likes
to give her affection.
Yes, Rhea always wants you to be nice to her.
Yeah, even if she knows that you're kind of like faking it.
Yeah,
like, oh,
or she's like willing to like look past it.
Yeah.
Or perhaps isn't even
really
able to see that.
Wants to believe that you love her.
Yeah, she wants you to like her so much.
Yes.
And genuinely so.
Yes, genuinely so.
And she gets like really upset if you don't.
Yeah.
And she always wants to hear the things that she wants to hear. Like you...
Yeah. Some characters like don't want to get bullshitted.
Yeah, Edelgard, I think, is one of these characters who doesn't want you to like play nice with her.
Yeah. Felix.
Felix also often doesn't want you to give him the sappy answer.
Hubert.
Linhardt is what I was going to say.
Oh, sure.
I think Linhardt is probably the character who almost always wants you to like, nah, just take the mean option. Like, be real with him. He wants you to be real.
Like, oh, do you think we're gonna, like, survive this battle? And you could be like, oh, it's an easy win, or, you know, like, it's gonna be hard, and yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot just, like, a good characterization through these, like, which option is the better option for them.
Yeah.
And Rhea, I think, just felt like she had this, like, really good balance of, like, is she evil?
Or is she just very intense?
Is she just very intense? And you, like, start seeing your support conversations, you're like, oh, she really does like you. She, like, genuinely likes you a lot.
Yeah.
Why? That's kind of... It's just, like, she likes you on, like, a borderline creepy level, where you're like, maybe don't cradle me.
Yeah. Like, yes, I'm tired, but I don't need to be sung a lullaby to.
Yeah, please don't hold me in your lap and sing a lullaby to me, thanks. Yeah, she has this... And then just, like, through the course of the story, you also get this, like... If you go on Edelgard's route, you see this, like, really vicious side of her.
Yes.
If you go on, like, the other routes, you get this very kind of...
most defeatist.
Defeatist. Yeah, kind of. You see the, like, sad side of her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she made a really bad decision a really long time ago.
Yeah.
And all of her decisions kind of spiral from that, I guess.
Yeah.
She's very emotional.
Yes.
But in like she's strong, but she needs
to care.
She needs care. She needed people around her who would actually like support her and tell her she's fucking stupid sometimes.
Sure.
And she didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I think you can just feel like, okay, yeah, she uses her authority to like force people to like her. She
literally very much has the good of the world in mind.
Yeah, she does genuinely want the best for the world.
But
so it's not like other games where like
her authority.
Yeah, it's not like other games where like the evil church is like doing evil because they want to summon the mad god.
Yeah.
Rhea wants to bring back a good god?
Yes.
But really more than that, she wants to bring back her mother.
She does think that the church is what's best for people.
Yeah, she like genuinely thinks that like this is what is best for people. And
all she wants is just to see her mother again.
Yeah, it's like she just wants love.
Yeah.
And I thought that was like,
and on the route where she doesn't get it, holy shit.
Yeah, she goes apeshit. But even I thought Silver Snow was like a good kind of capstone. Like doing that one last.
Yeah.
You see her go like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I messed up. I fucked up.
Yeah, that's I guess the only route where she really like in other routes that she knows she's doing some stuff that's, as Seth puts it, nothing questionable, I hope.
Yes.
But only on that route does she actually admit to it.
Yeah. And specifically we did her S rank. We married her.
Oh, that's true. Route. Yes. And you're the only person she's willing to like give power over to.
Yeah. And she has this kind of like, I'm not meant to like take us forward.
Yeah. Like I am the like archbishop that like lied to all the followers.
Yeah.
But now that I've said all that, you, the totally pure person, can come and take over. So hey.
So yeah.
I'll just be your wife. So no problem. No conflicts there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was a good game with a lot of complex characters, a lot of fun moments, a lot of good strategy. The battles were fun. Yeah, it was just enjoyable.
It was very good.
Solid game.
A lot of strengths.
Yeah, it is long. it has some like flaws.
Yeah,
but they feel more like scratches than.
Yeah, nothing is like really harming your experience. But like you're like, wow, you do everything else so well. Wouldn't it be nice if you just like could draw a skybox? Like,
yeah, I wish they had like if they had one more year, this game would be like perfect.
Does it even take a year? It feels like some of the stuff is like, just get me some better textures.
I think some of that stuff takes a while. It's game dev. Game dev takes weird amounts of time. But I just give them a year.
Yeah.
Let them polish the rest of it.
Wait for the HD remaster.
I don't know if that's the sort of thing they'd fix in the remaster. But alright, I think that's all I got to say. Yep. I mean, I want to talk about how great of a turnaround Sedith and Felix were
and Lawrence and Linhardt.
Linhardt.
Yeah.
So many great characters.
There are so many characters, early on.
Mercedes was like, I thought she was going to be fucking boring, but she ended up being one of my favorite characters overall.
Yep.
Like, so many good characters. I'm like, I feel like they're my children. I miss them.
Because the game does raise you as caring and raising all these people, right? So
I've raised and married some of them. And did we marry? No, we haven't married any children.
We not married any.
We married
Sothis.
Married Sothis. We married Sedith.
That was bizarre. That was
weird.
Don't marry Sedith.
Don't marry.
That was strange.
Yeah, that was a little strange.
Yuritsa,
which was great.
The best marriage, surprisingly.
And then
Rhea. Yeah, right.
I think Yuritsa and Rhea were both really good marriages. Sothis gave us a plot point we hadn't known about.
Yes, that's true.
It's weird. It's a weird marriage, but you learn about the Creststone being in your heart.
Yes, before you
on Blue route anyway, where you wouldn't have known that because it never comes up.
Yeah, you don't really know it except on Red and Silver.
Yeah, I guess
Silver,
they mentioned it
told,
explicitly.
Red
in Silver.
gets shown,
Red, it's
but
hinted.
you might not understand what's happening.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Yuritsa. Mary Yuritsa.
Yeah, Mary Yuritsa.
Surprising.
DLC character, but I'd say the DLC is worth it in this game. You get the Sauna, which is really good, and
the Sauna DLC.
Yeah,
that's
I think. Yeah, Yuritsa is great. Anna, I love Anna, but I wish she had support conversations.
Yes, but
she's really
you
fun.
get Anna's voice lines, and that's kind of all you need.
Yeah. Cha-ching!
I sell first aid kits.
All right, and I think that's probably good for the Fire Emblem.
Yep.
Hope you all enjoyed it. I think we're ready to call that one clear. So,
see you next time.
See you next time.